Welcome to the FullTime Fantasy Podcast, presented by the Fantasy Football World Championship, home to the industry's most accurate rankings.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the FullTime Fantasy Podcast. I am your host, Adam Krautwurst. You can find me at Adam_Krautwurst on the X. And with me, my guest tonight, Fozzy. Everyone knows him as the Fozzy Dog in the high stakes world, mid stakes grinder extraordinaire. What is up, my friend?
What is going on tonight, everybody? And Adam, good to see you.
Yes, sir. Good to be here. I don't think I've seen you since, Vegas was 9 weeks ago. Like, is that bananas to even think about?
It's gone by so fast.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You and I drafted a ton in Vegas at the Circa, over at the FFWC, and all the drafts that were going on there. And then we ended up watching the games together on Sunday, man. I can't believe that was 9 weeks ago already. The season is flying by. We're almost 3/4 of the way through the regular season for this high stakes stuff.
Yeah, it's just coming by quicker than now. We're halfway. We're depending on what your league you're in, but halfway through the season in most spots.
Yeah.
In cases.
Yeah.
It's time to start getting those teams that need kicked in the ass and moving, right?
That's right. That's right. It's been a weird year, to be honest with you. I'm in a 3K in a spot where a $3,000 entry. I'm in 11th place, and I'm I think I'm 68 points at a second. Like, there's literally, it's been that type of year. There's been so many injuries, and I'm kind of bounced all over the place. Like, you have one good week, you go from 11th to 3rd. Like, it's just been that type of year. What have you been noticing?
Oh man, it just seems like every week there's been a hot waiver wire pickup to start going after. You get guys going down left and right here. It's been a weird season with that. No injuries during preseason and all that stuff really this year. You go into the season thinking everything's nice and smooth, and you're going to start with some nice then all of a sudden, no tight ends doing nothing. You got top players getting hurt like Puka and Cup and so on and so on through players, and CMC not doing nothing. People that got lucked out, got on the Mason train, second running back throughout the year.
Yeah.
But now even the last couple of weeks, he's kind of rubbed people the wrong way with his shoulder injury. And now you're starting to wonder which running back to even play off that team, especially as CMC gets back now. The other two running backs, who we'll get into that a little bit later still.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride. It's been fun. And we're going to dig into every week 9 game here coming up. We got a quick question from 3Pick. Would we pick up Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston in Superflex? Yes, for sure. I'd pick him up and I'd start him this week over. I'm just looking at Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, Levis, Bryce Young, Brissett. I'd start him over all those guys. So what about you?
I'm big on Jameis right now. I mean, he might throw you an interception or two, but he's got the potential of a 3 or 4 game TD behind him the whole day too. So I want to take his upside, especially if you're somebody that's rolling with AR right now and you're got another guy that got on a bye week or something. You could do much worse even in a super flex or in any other league to put those guys on your team right now.
Yeah, for sure.
You might have been been in quarterback trouble using Andy Dalton somewhere along the way. Now they're bringing the rookie back in and you're like, well, shit, don't want to play either one of them right now. So
well, at least they traded Dionte Johnson. You know what I mean? So what do you think about that before moving on? Dionte, word on the street is he might be their third receiver there in Baltimore, which would really kind of suck. I think he goes from, to me, Dionte Johnson goes from a really borderline, like a wide receiver 3 with the current quarterback there with Bryce Young. He was a wide receiver 2 with Andy Dalton. And I think in Baltimore, I think he's gonna be much more inconsistent, but I think he's gonna have wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 type upside in that offense because their defense sucks. So they're always in these shootouts. He's gonna be really good. Not this week, probably not next week. I mean, look at Amari Cooper. Look at some of the other receivers that have been traded. They haven't DeAndre Hopkins. They haven't done much.
It probably hurts Andrews a little bit. Put another passing weapon around him and stuff. He's already slightly been off this whole year in the first place. Just now starting to come back on a little bit.
Yeah.
Now you're going to add another pair of hands around him on a team that doesn't throw that much. Kind of makes me wonder if he gets hurt when he does get added.
Yeah, Devontae Adams hasn't done anything with his new team either. So I would give it a couple weeks, but I think it's a guy that could be good down the stretch. Zay Flowers too, playing with an ankle injury, so we'll see how that works. But speaking of Devontae Adams and the Jets, let's dive into this here. Thursday night game, Jets Texans over under 42.5. Obviously I don't really care who wins the game, but I feel like the Jets have just been so. I don't think they're going to lose like their fourth straight game. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to play well. I also think that you've got a Texans team that's got Nico Collins still out hurt. You got Diggs out for the year. It's basically Tank Dell there. Maybe Dalton Schultz gets more involved now. I think it's probably really good for him.
I think it's great for Mixon.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it couldn't have been I guess that you could say it could be great. It can't be worse. Or it can't be better almost because he's a top 3 running back. All right.
Well, at some point, you're going to take away so many weapons that they're going to start to key just on him. Before you had all those 3 other guys out there, and he's just running under the radar. And now it could actually go against them losing Diggs. They're going to start loading up the box on Mixon more and make them just pay attention.
Nico will be back soon. I think Nico's back next week. I think he's eligible. So I think that'll get back to normal. But I don't know how you were on Diggs shares, but I had a lot of Stefon Diggs in mid stakes.
There's quite a few being dropped tonight.
Yeah, oh yeah, there'll be a lot of Diggs dropped tonight. But what do you think? What do you think of the Texans side of the ball this week against the Jets?
Jets defense hasn't been doing. Their defense isn't as strong as they were last year. It doesn't seem to be. I don't know if they'll put it together still this year. So Texans going against them. Yeah. I think the Texans are. Man, I want the Jets to win. Okay, that's my problem. Yeah. I'm not saying that I want that the Texans can't win because I think the Jets are due. Tough game on that one. Yeah,
the Jets are a positive matchup for receivers slightly. They're a 4.1% improvement against the average. So I wouldn't be too Tank Dell. I would like to. I'm excited to start a guy like Tank Dell. I know he hasn't had the year people wanted, but now he's the only guy there this week. He's got to get the ball. If you got Schultz sitting in your bench, I like Schultz a lot this week. And Mixon, you're starting those guys regardless. I wouldn't look to get cute and start really anybody else. Obviously the quarterback too, Stroud. So I think you're not fading any of them against a kind of a tough game.
I'm going Jets.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the Jets side of the ball, fantasy wise? You're starting your Breece Halls, your Garrett Wilsons. You're obviously are you starting Devontae Adams against a tougher Texans defense? Let's see where they are against the pass.
I'm starting Devontae Adams if I don't got somebody else to go in his. Normally never in any world have I ever really wanted to bench Devontae Adams.
Right. No.
With the previous 2 game performances, if I got somebody else I can put in there that I think is going to get me 12 to 15 or 10 points, I might just throw them in there and not take the risk if I've seen that average. This could be the game that they put it together and they start to roll. I think sooner or later it'll be the same hookup that they've always had, and they'll start to put it together. I'm hoping it's this game because I do like the Jets personally, not just as a fantasy team, but they've got to get it moving. So yeah. They haven't covered 60 yards apiece at the same time with both receivers yet.
Yeah.
With Garrett Wilson and him there. Garrett had the game last week. Does Garrett go silent and he actually plays this time? I would play Garrett Wilson no matter what. Devontae Adams, flex play for me. If I had somebody that I felt safer on an average that I've seen already, I would go with them.
Yeah, I think Allen Lazard being out again helps them. And then Mike Williams to me is droppable in fantasy. I'm dropping him this week. Lazard gets to work over him anyways. No points last. I think they're looking to trade him anyway. So I think if you're looking for a guy to drop, I think Mike Williams is fine to drop. But you're starting your Breece Halls, your Adams. Rodgers is a borderline play to me. Again, I think they're due to just get it going one game, have it click, and just Rodgers let up the scoreboard. Last week he had 2 touchdowns early, and it was to like Conklin and somebody else. So, Garrett Wilson gets tackled at the 1 yard line one time. Breece Hall gets tackled short 2. So I'm starting all my guys there that I'm looking at
I was looking at the Breece Hall and the Braylon Allen situation since they fired the coach. And for the first 2 weeks, Braylon went and took a backseat, and Breece started getting more of the touches again.
Yeah.
And last week, Breece went 16 for 80 yards, 1 reception, 9 yards with 3 targets. Braylon didn't get 1 target.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. But I think they're going to start to work Braylon back in with over the next couple of weeks, and Breece is going to start to go back to more of a split share.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I have a lot of Breece Hall, but I feel like
I just think that's the way it's going to end up going.
Yeah, I think it's game by game. But Braylon Allen's good. I can't deny them trying to get him touches. I mean, he's an excellent player. He's a great handcuff back. All right, moving on. Raiders Bengals 1:00. 1:00 on Sunday. Let's see what the spread. The spread here is 46.5. We like that. A little bit of a higher scoring game, which is cool. Burrow's been awesome this season. He's been, yeah, that's right. That's right. No Higgins. Is Higgins out this week too? For sure.
I believe so. I was looking at it earlier today, and I think he is. Unless something changes last minute, I think he's still out.
It's amazing. The guy's an absolute China down, quad injury on a freaking Friday, and he can't play. It's just like, what are these guys doing in practice? Like, what are they doing? Are they full padded tackling each other? These guys get hurt on a Friday in practice. Like, come on, man. It's like you thought, hey, contract year for Higgins, he's gonna tough it out, but nope. He's I feel like he plays when he wants to play. But I don't know. I'm sour. I have so much freaking T Higgins, but yeah, Burrow's been great no matter what. You're obviously starting Burrow. If Higgins plays, you're starting him. Chase. What are you doing with the backfield there? Chase Brown I think it's really taken over the backfield there. He looks better. Zach Moss, I never thought was any good anyways. He was in Buffalo. He didn't look good.
I'm just taking the high side player every time there. I think one's more electrifying being Brown. And of course I told you that if one went out, I think no matter what, I'm playing Brown this late in the season for his upside.
Yep. Raiders are a good a good team you want to target in the run game. So Brown, and they could play with a lead here too, like a big lead in this one, especially if Higgins plays, they can kind of run the score up there, and then Brown can kind of smash. But Moss is barely a flex play for me, if that. And then but Brown, I'm looking forward to starting. Any Raiders? Jacoby Myers, big game last week. Obviously, you've got Brock Bowers. You're starting tight end 1 week in and week out. But Jacoby Myers is really the only other player I would be looking to play in this offense. Yes.
Yeah, there was what's his name, the Trey kid or whatever.
Tucker. Yeah.
Yeah, Trey Tucker. I was looking at him a little bit this year. He just never really quite. If you need to throw him in for a flex play somewhere, he's probably good enough to get you by, and maybe he gets an extra couple passes to him. He's actually sees the ball, but he's not going to get you probably more than 8 or 9 points on a given day.
Yeah, I mean it's that's what I'm saying. Like you don't want to start any of these guys.
No. But I mean, if you're looking at nobody there and you're looking for $1 pickup because it's a bye week and you're hurting or something, that's somebody to get you something and get you by.
Right.
But you're going to get thrown right back out the next week for a kicker or somebody.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just really kind of relying on that Bengals pass game. Burrow's the highest PFF graded passer. And adjusted completion rate. So he's been doing great. And when all the weapons are there, their offense is awesome. So hopefully we get Higgins back this week. Titans Sunday 1:00 as well. This game will be gross. Probably this won't be on the red zone much. when we're watching
a good game.
Yeah, when we're watching that over under 37.5. It'll be pretty gross. Hopefully we get Drake May back this week so they can move the ball a little bit. Although Brissett again freaking beats the Jets on a game-winning touchdown drive, which was pretty wild. That Jets defense just hasn't been what we thought. But so Drake May could be back this week. The only guy, Ramondre Stevenson's a guy that's been like so inconsistent. I benched him in a couple spots last week because I felt like he was, game script dependent, all this other stuff. He comes out with 2 touchdowns. I'm like, oh my God. Yep. But I have enough Ramondre where I did get him in the lineup somewhere. So you're looking to start Ramondre. Boutte is interesting. Keyshawn Boutte. I mean, he's like a deep flex type of guy, but he could pop. He's looked pretty good for them. But other than that, maybe Hunter Henry on an injury, like if you have to fill in for an injury or a bye week for Kittle or something. But I'm not dying to start Henry. Is that pretty much it on the Bengal or the Patriots side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want nothing to do with any other team. The tight end.
Yeah.
I play with Henry, put him in some places. He seems to get the ball sometimes. I like the way Drake May's been playing. He's definitely bringing it on later in the season for him, but they're just not a team or not any players I want to deal with this year.
Yeah, especially with the over-under as low as it is. I wouldn't. I mean, Henry can. I mean, and the Titans. The Titans are like the number 2 or 3 defense here against tight ends. So I wouldn't be looking to start him. But Ramondre's fine, especially in a game where they can win. In a game where they, when the script has them winning a game or having a lead, I think Ramondre will be a good start this week. Even though the Titans have a tough defense, this is one where Ramondre can stay involved. Calvin Ridley sighting last week, huh? For the Titans, now that he's the number 1 guy there locked in. I mean, I didn't start him at a couple spots, but I think he'll be the guy moving forward here, no?
So, well, if you remember, just the fact that you say that, we're going to bring this stuff from earlier in the year when we did a draft together. And I went to do that 4 running back start team. Here we are mid-season. Where did it end up and how's it doing, right? There's the question.
Yeah.
That team's 7-1.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it was the right players because I wouldn't have worked with any other players. And you're starting to get a player like Ridley coming on. I avoided collarbone, what's his name from the Chiefs that went out, or the shoulder, the wide receiver early in the year.
Oh, Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown, yep, thank you. And I went McConkey over him or something early in the year. So those guys are starting to come together. So that team's starting to actually funnel together pretty good.
I remember it was Derrick Henry in the 4th. Who else was it?
Derrick Henry in the 4th. It got Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry in the 4th on that team.
There you go.
Lucky 4 running backs team that came together that way. Most of them wouldn't have felt that way.
Well, it's funny you say that because this has been the year. I love hero RB. I love taking one stud back and loading up receivers. It has not been the year to do that. All these mid-round running backs that, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, who I liked. I have some Derrick Henry as well. But all these mid-round, old in our eyes running backs, no one's getting hurt. They're all. I mean, Mixon did get hurt, but he's a top 3 running back every time he plays. Josh Jacobs, all these guys. Meanwhile, every receiver in the world is getting hurt. It's just all of them everywhere all the time. It's been a bad year for and then even think of the other, like Devin Achane. He's been great, but without Tua. Right now, we got Tua back. Achane's back to 30 fantasy points again. Like, it's going to be interesting down the stretch here. I'm kind of shooting off on a tangent here, but a lot of the guys coming back from injury, the Puka Nakuas, the Cooper Kupps, the Devin Achanes. Achane wasn't hurt, but Tua, the Tyreek, the Waddle, like all these guys starting to kind of get healthy. I wonder if it kind of mixes up some of the. If you were able to kind of hold on, Christian McCaffrey coming back, just Jonathan Brooks ever freaking play. Like
he got in a full practice this week. I don't know if they roll him out this week, but they probably roll him out next week or whatever for sure. They don't got I don't know, remember their bye week, whatever, but they ain't got a bye week next week. You might see Jonathan Brooks for the first time next week, if not possibly this week.
Well, Carolina's bye week is week 11, so they'd have to keep him out 2 more weeks and then bring him back. I mean,
to bring him back when Hubbard's playing as well as he is. There's no rush, and they're not like but
I know. I'm trying to look here. New Orleans is such a sweet matchup this week, and then you got the Giants, which is about in like an even matchup, bye week, and then Kansas City, which is like the worst matchup in the world. So I don't know, man. It's just another thing of like the running backs and how it's really been hurting people. But yeah, it'll be interesting how teams start to unfold and see how these strategies kind of worked out. But yeah, anyways, back to the Titans, like you were saying, Ridley, Pollard, I think, is a guy this week you could look to play. Spears. I've seen Spears, people starting to drop Spears. I don't think I would do that. I mean, I think he's a talented back. He's just been banged up.
Our try to never drop a running back if you don't have to.
Right. That's right. Never drop a running back. That's what I always say. Always add. The only time you never drop a running back is to pick up a running back. Would be the only time I would do that. But yeah. So you're starting Ridley, and you're excited about it, and you're starting Pollard, and then we'll see on Spears. All right, moving on. Dolphins Bills 1:00. This should be a shootout. Let me find the over under here for this one, but that'll be an exciting game. 50.5 is the shootout for that. In Buffalo, weather should be decent. Being the Western New Yorker here. Tua's had 3 or 4 concussions, and I think the Bills have given him like 2 or 3 of those. So Von Miller, I think, will be active again finally this week after being out for 4 weeks with the suspension. But again, I do like the line 50.5. You're starting all your guys in this match. Like, we're just actionable data, right? Like, who do we start? Who do we sit? That type of thing. You're starting all your Dolphins, Tyreek, Waddle, Achane, even Mostert. You're starting Tua. Even if the Dolphins get behind, which they will, which is what you want, because the Bills always crush them. I think Allen's like 14-1 against the Dolphins or something. But sorry, go ahead, Fozzy.
I was just going to break down the split of Moser and Achane last week. Moser went 9 touches for 19 yards and 2 TDs, so they were using him more in the goal line stuff, and Achane went 10 for 97. Difference is Achane had 6 receptions for 50 yards and a TD, and Moser only got 1. I don't think the rookie really seen anything last week. So they once Tua came back and those 2 were healthy, the rookie took a 3rd place pretty far back to them.
Yes. And the Bills' run defense is not good. So, if there's a situation where the Dolphins do get up or they do keep it close, they could really pound Achane and Mostert. I like all the weapons here, because, like you said, Achane catches the ball. So if they're playing from behind, I expect him to have a top 5 day, a top 5 fantasy day.
He was a clear pass catcher for sure.
Yeah, for sure. On the Bills side, it gets a little bit more tricky because they just spread the ball around so much. I think you're starting Dalton Kincaid. He's starting to come around a little bit. Let me see what the Dolphins are. The Dolphins are a negative matchup for tight ends, but with Kittle and Freiermuth being on bye this week, I think Kincaid slips into the top 10. So I like him in what could be a shootout. But you don't know what receiver. I mean, Shakir's going to be there, right? He's going to get his 5 or 6 catches. Maybe he scores, but is this a Keon Coleman week? Is this
Coleman's taking up, man? I've got an arrow next to his name right here. 7 target, 5 catches, 70 yards, and a TD from last week.
Who is that, Coleman, you're saying?
Yep, ever since Cooper came in.
Yeah.
Coleman's not having to take a double team no more, and he's actually starting to perform like you want him to, and he's starting to build out. You can start to Allen's throwing to him. He's really starting to believe in Coleman now to grab those jump balls.
Yep.
So seven targets with 5 catches. He keeps bringing in the catches like that. He'll keep getting his share.
And Josh trusts him. I think that Cooper is going to get the shadow coverage from Jalen Ramsey, because I think that's what Ramsey wants. And so Coleman's going to have his one-on-one opportunities on the other side. Josh trusts him, and he's been balling out. He's been blocking in the run game. And the Bills coaches love this stuff, man. When they get these receivers that can block, he drove some corner last week into the bench and started a freaking brawl.
And then there was another one that he just flat out.
Yes, yeah, I saw that. He leveled it.
Beginning, man, just dumps him right away. And this guy sitting over him was like, "What's up, man?"
Yep, and then he goes and wins a jump ball in the end zone. I would be looking to start these rookie receivers. Fozzy, the second half of the year, man, these guys start to come on. Look at Ladd McConkey. Marvin Harrison had a great game last week.
Brian Thomas, him, right. All 3 of them are starting to really pick their shares up.
That's right. Oh God, Brian Thomas, brutal, man. He freaking out 2 to 4 weeks. That sucks. But hey, when he gets back, Kirk's done for the year. It's wheels up for Brian Thomas. But so yeah, Keon Coleman, try to get him in the lineups. Cooper, I don't know so much. I mean, if you got him, you probably got to start him, but in a shootout type of atmosphere. But I don't know. I would start. I got them both around low end wide receiver 3s. I might start Lockett over him. I'm definitely starting your boy Cedric Tillman over him, and we'll get into that. But yeah. So
are you sure Brian Thomas is out this weekend?
I thought he was like,
it says Jacksonville Jaguars, Brian Thomas, chest, and Gabe Davis shoulder were both limited practice on Wednesday.
well, that's good news because they were talking about him being out 2 to 4 weeks with ribs. So
players left the Jaguars Week 8 loss Green Bay's game.
Yeah.
But Christian Kirk, he's
Kirk's done. But cross our fingers, if Brian Thomas plays, I would love to have a lot of.
He was originally a 2 to 4 week time frame before receiving a second option revealed that he could also be ready for 9 weeks. That's what it's saying right here.
Okay, perfect. Let's
maybe some upward news for him possibly.
Right. A lot of times rib injuries are just pain tolerance, and a lot of times these guys play through that stuff. So, obviously you're starting James Cook, you're starting Josh Allen, but I think the receiving core definitely start Shakir and Coleman. I would like to get in, but Cooper, learning the offense, 1 catch last week. Shadow coverage, I would be careful. All right, Commanders, Giants. We got a little showdown here. Jaden Daniels coming off an insane win.
You think Cooper Kupp goes there?
I don't. I think that the Rams can win this division still. I think, and with the way this offense is pumping, and I want, as a Cooper Kupp owner, I want Kupp to stay where he's at because that's where he's going to get the most. They have that rapport there.
I just keep thinking there's that surprise guy coming off, whether it's a possible Higgins, which I still doubt, or a Kupp somewhere, or I want Mike Williams to go somewhere for me personally worth a shit. But
right, that's right. Because you can pretty much cut Mike Williams right now, but over under.
I want to cut him until next week because I want to see if he falls into someplace good. And knowing my luck, if I cut on my Mike Williams this week, he's going to fall into a nice role somewhere.
Right, that's right.
But if I don't cut him, he's going to continue to be garbage. So I don't know.
The Commanders versus the Giants. Commanders it's a 43.5 point spread, not average there. You're starting Terry McLaurin. You're starting your usuals there. Noah Brown didn't do much of anything last week. 90% of his stats came on the Hail Mary, so I wouldn't look to do that. Zach Ertz is interesting to me. He's kind of had a low-key good season. And so, he could be an option. I'm trying to see where there. Yeah, he could be a top 12 option, but the Giants are really good against tight ends. In fact, Freiermuth did nothing last week against them. I was benching Freiermuth everywhere because of that. So actually, Ertz is a guy that I might have outside my top 12 this week. But you're starting the running backs there, Brian, and you're starting Terry McLaurin. And
that's a tight end I wish I had from a different team that I wish I had more of. But we'll get to that team here in a little bit because it's with Tillman.
Yeah. There you go. On the Giants side, how good does Tyrone Tracy look? I mean, he looks, and I saw that, and it's not even just last week. Like seeing it, you saw it 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when Singletary got hurt, right?
He took over the backfield. It's his now.
Yes.
Even when they were both out there, he's taking it.
Yep. No, I completely agree. I mean, maybe they were still easing Singletary in, but I doubt it. I think that Tracy's the guy for sure. So I would be excited to start him. You're starting Neighbors. Wandale's been hit and miss, and this is a game with a low scoring total. Let me see how they are against receivers there. Washington, they were not good to start the year. But I think they've been a little bit better. Yeah, they're a negative matchup for receivers. So Wandale, again, an emergency kind of what the heck flex type of thing. I think it's okay, but Neighbors, you're obviously we're rolling with. All right, moving on here. Bears Cardinals 4:00 on Sunday. We're kind of bouncing over here. It's fine. What do you think of the Bears? I don't know what to do with them, man. They were on a roll. Caleb Williams was awesome going into the bye week. 3 straight great games. Comes out of the bye week last week. Puts up a dud. The offense put up a whole dud. Swift was good, but kind of got his touchdown there at the end. But they have a good defense. Their offense kind of struggles in inconsistency. What are you doing with the receivers there? Keenan Allen, Roman Dunze, DJ Moore. Who the heck do you start?
I don't know.
All of them, maybe?
They're going to have a good day again. They've just been off and on. It's a rookie quarterback,
Yeah.
I don't know, man, because you got Marvin Harrison on the other side or whatever. You got the rookie. He come out explosive at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden he's just been like mediocre. And Murray's really not getting the ball like you were hoping he was going to. McBride's doing nice. He's definitely playable. Connor's been looking decent, pretty good, all right. But the rookie behind him, he's either getting his time to play or he just been trash. Either way, Benson.
Yeah.
Then when you said you go to the other side of the ball, you've got weapons everywhere, and either they're going to put up a 4 or 5 touchdown week, or they're going to come out and give you a bunch of zeros. It looks like
That's what it's been all year, dude. And they talk about the Benson, man. It's just been the year of like, I don't know. The rookie running back, I'm so excited for all of them. I know none of them are in a starting role, but even like, so we talked about Jonathan Brooks already. Jalen Wright, nothing. Trey Benson can't see the field behind a 92-year-old James Conner who doesn't get hurt. You got Blake Corum behind a 195-pound running back, Kyron Williams, that's hurt every single year. He hasn't gone down. Blake Corum can't see the field. It's all these rookie running backs, 4 of them, just like wasting away on these. Like, really, they can't see any run, these guys?
That's why I'm curious to see Jonathan Brooks, even though Hubbard's already still your first-round pick, so it's not like they're just going to not play the guy, whether Hubbard's doing it or not. I mean, unless he just isn't any good when he starts to play. But if he's starting to be able to pick up some pass boxes this week or next week as they go play him, he's practicing this week, so he's out there playing around and he got a full practice in today. But I don't think that they're going to let the reins off him this week yet. I think they may even wait until after that bye week. I like to see them. I want to see what they have in them before the bye week, and then they can work on them and see what they got after that. I hope they play them the next week.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're starting all your guys. Are you hope for a shootout against 44.5 isn't the best, but it's not terrible. Hope for a shootout. Hope for decent weather. I think it's in Chicago. If it's at 4:00, it might be in.
We got a few players coming back this week, though. Hawkinson's back this week.
Yeah, Hawkinson will be nice. That'll be nice. Yeah, that'll be nice to see him get back. That offense, that team for sure. But yeah, I like a bounce back game here from Caleb Williams. I know people are wondering, hey, do I start Caleb? Do I bench him? I think you got to just keep rolling with him. He's got that rushing upside. I like him as a borderline. Arizona's a positive matchup for quarterbacks. He's got weapons. It is at Arizona, so you'll get decent weather, and hopefully, like on the other side, Kyler can get going here. Harrison looked great last week. I think when you just get him involved early, man, he needs to be involved early. It keeps him in the game. He's making insane catches. He's really good on those deep drags, those deep crossing routes. He's just really good at those. I would have him running those all day. That's where he had all those big catches.
Yeah, I mean, you're not saying, but there's just been a couple of times where he's had a couple of scores where you're like, man, give him the ball. He's even been open, and you're just not
right
over to him.
Right. So, but yeah, so I think you're starting all those guys there. All your normal guys you're starting. Michael Wilson's interesting. He's popped here and there. I think he's a nice little flex in this. Like if you've got like in the FFWC, starting 3 receivers, you can start up to 5 with the flexes. Like Michael Wilson could be your fifth receiver. I think in a game like this, he pops. They like him around the red zone. So I think Michael Wilson is a little sneaky little flex spot. We get a question from Kevin. Should I start Flacco over Caleb this week? I would say no. I would still go with Caleb because of the matchup, decent weather, rushing upside. And Flacco's playing a tougher defense. I like Flacco, but with the 0 rushing upside and Jonathan Taylor being super involved, I think this is the first time Flacco's really been out there with Jonathan Taylor this season, because I know he was there for 3 or 4 weeks. Taylor was out, and earlier in the year, Richardson started. So,
what Flacco does, he makes Josh Downs and Pittman play.
Correct. I think you want to start. I know this sounds weird. I think you want to start your Colts receivers, but you don't necessarily want to start Flacco, because Flacco to beat a Caleb Williams, he has to throw for 300 yards and 3 scores, right? Whereas you're happy with Pittman going for 6 for 70. You're fine. 6 for 60 and a score. You love it. So I think that's the way I look at it there. All right, moving on here to the next game. Let's go Chargers Browns Sunday, 1:00. Chargers been an interesting team. J.K. Dobbins has been kind of a surprise, but he's still only like running back 18, I think, on the season. He's just not scoring. He hasn't had a great week really since week 1 and 2 he smashed. Then he kind of slowed down. He's been kind of getting through a little bit of the passing. He's consistent every week. Every week he's a running back 2. He doesn't really have any big duds, but he also doesn't have those big smash weeks like he had week 1. And their pass rate over expectation is like top 3 in the NFL. They've been throwing the ball way more than we thought they would because of the weapons. So I think you're happy about that if you're a Herbert owner, if you're a McConkey owner, Quentin Johnston coming back. And then Cleveland Browns. I know you want to talk about the Cleveland Browns, your guys here. So talk a little bit about Cedric Tillman, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the Cleveland Browns.
So obviously with Cooper going to the Bills, it leaves somebody to step up for the Browns. Everybody was wondering if it was going to be Judy because that's what they brought him over there, and Judy's just never really panned out for shit.
Yeah.
He's Judy. He's a guy on the field. I think what's his name said it best. He's a jag, just another guy. But Tillman, on the other hand, is really starting to show some flash, and Jameis Winston is 100% better quarterback at this time in their life than Deshaun Watson is. And so it's really not just bringing Chubb back. Chubb got 16 carries, by the way, which is crazy for the second week back in 50 yards. But as far as the receiving part that we're getting to, Jameson likes to get the ball downfield. He likes to stretch the field a little bit, and he'll throw an interception or two, but he's also a type that'll get you a 4-touchdown game. And Tillman is going to reap that for the rest of the year. To me, Tillman is a wide R2 for the rest of the year without question. Plausible wide R1 as the season moves on.
Wow. Listen, top 12 receiver moving on?
Uh-huh.
Wow, you could tell Fozzy's got 25% Cedric.
I got a lot. I just think lack of talent around him. The other one is Njoku is now going to be a top 5 tight end rest of the year, hands down. He's going to get 10 to 12 looks per game. He's going to catch about 8 of them and possibly throw a TD in there with every game. Earlier in the year, I wasn't taking Njoku's because I don't like Watson throwing to him, and Watson doesn't seem to have big games with him. But when Watson got hurt last year, whatever quarterback was in there, Njoku has huge days.
Yep.
You put them back in there all year long. Yes, it's subpar. Here we go already. As soon as somebody like Winston's in there, he's your number 1 target share guy, and he's your tight end on the team. And Tillman's going to be breathing right down second with him, and they're both just going to – they're going to be that guy that you just keeps catching the ball. And you're like, why doesn't my other guys get a ball like that every time?
Right.
I just think it's one of those players that you should have got on last week, and if you're lucky, you might get one this week.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Tonight for Tillman, guys. I think he's going to be worth it.
Yep. Real quick, Flacco over Stroud this week, yes or no? I'd say yes. I like Flacco over Stroud. The same style quarterbacks, pocket passers, but Flacco's got better weaponry, I think, right now, with Nico being out, Diggs being out, and all that. Yes. So I picked up a lot of Cedric Tillman this week. I liked him coming out of college, rookie last year. I thought he did really well at certain points. So I think they really like him. He was just kind of buried on that depth chart. I like Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's free agency in some of these leagues, man. You can go ahead and pick him up. The passing volume has been up for the Browns. It hasn't been the problem. The problem is Watson's been horrific. If Winston can continue to pass at this rate, I don't know about borderline wide receiver 1 for Tillman because I just don't know if he's that talented, but I could see low-end wide receiver 2 rest of the year. Go ahead.
I just think he's going to get that many balls.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those situations to where there is some other talent there, but I just think that he's going to get that 10 to 12 look every single game, which is going to be one of those number 1 receivers that you're going to wish you had on your team all year.
And it's not only 10 to 12 looks, his ADOT is deep. I mean, he's down the field making big plays. I like that. And Winston loves throwing to him. The offensive line's coming around. They got the run game coming around with Chubb. Like, he's a league winner. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, doesn't matter. Tillman.
3 key things. You're getting a long ADOT. He looks for him in the touchdown, obviously, and he's pumping the ball his direction. So all 3 of those things are what you want to be hearing.
Yep. And Njoku, I could see maybe not top 5 rest of the way, top 7. I could certainly see it. Ingram's going to be a target hog now with Kirk out and all the Ingram's back. He's rolling. You've got Pitts rolling again. You're going to get Hawkinson back here rolling. Big, I call him Big Daddy Otten, Kate Otten. I mean, the big winner out of the
30-some
Godwin
points
injury. So I think he's gonna have a lot of competition for that top 5 spot there. But no, I love.
He's gonna be there. All I'm saying is
he's gonna be there, 100%. 100%. So yeah, I like a lot of those receivers there. I would start Elijah Moore this week. I would start Nick Chubb this week, for sure. Let me see what I like about that.
That's off to Nick Chubb, man. Way to come back, sir.
Seriously. I mean, Chubb's more of an RB2 this week, I think. Low end RB2, but I'd probably start him because again, that's a game that I think can be close. But Chargers have a tough run defense, but I think you're going to start McConkey on the other side. You're going to start Dobbins as an RB2. Disley, I'd leave him alone. The Browns are really good against tight ends, and that's probably pretty much. I mean, obviously your quarterbacks, they're like QB2s. Herbert and Winston are QB2s. So, all right, moving on to the next game here. We did that one already. Cowboys Falcons. That should be a fun game. Over under 52. I went to bed the other night thinking, going into the fourth quarter, I'm like, I'm tired, man. I gotta go to bed. Whatever. I wake up and freaking Lamb went crazy, and Dak went crazy after I went to bed. Dak and Lamb just need to start forwards about Lamb every play because it's the only thing that really works. I don't know what Jerry was thinking with these running backs going into the season. That was stupid. It was never going to work. It hasn't worked. You got to feed Lamb the ball. Lamb, top 3 wide receiver, rest away if they keep pumping in the ball like that. But Dak to me is a borderline QB1, and that's all I want to start from this team. I mean, I barely want to start Ferguson. I don't want to start any of the receivers, but I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this Cowboys offense here?
Tolbert's getting a few passes. Ferguson is Ferguson. He commands a second type of share in the pass end. Dowell, I want to see them just get rid of the other 2 damn backs and just start to focus on him. For out of the 3 backs that they do have, he is the best one. So just start to pump him the ball. I didn't see enough out of Cook last week to make me even worried about him taking snaps with Dowell. They were just throwing in.
I mean, Dowdle, to me, I mean, he didn't play last year, but to me, he's got a tough match. The Falcons are actually good against running backs. They need to get him more involved in the passing game. I think it would help Dak. It would help that whole offense, I think, to get Dowdle working more.
Their defense needs to start playing better. So there's 2 people Dallas and Jets. It's like, what happened to your defense over a summer?
Right. I mean, well, they haven't had what's his name there, Parsons. That definitely hurts. But on the Falcons side of the ball, you're excited to start your guys like Bijan, London, Pitts. I mean, this is the best 3 or 4 game stretch Pitts has had in his career, maybe since his rookie year.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins, he's had up and down big games this year. His one game was 40-some points, and his other game was just the other one. And both games that were his big game were against the Bucs.
Yes.
The other games that Kirk Cousins has thrown, he's more averaged 15, 18 points a game all year long.
Good point.
Still having good games. Receivers and other things have good ones. But his 2 huge games that everybody's been really excited about has both been against the Bucs. So what will he do against Dallas? I don't know, because the other teams that he's all played has really been about 15, 18.
Yeah, Dallas is a positive matchup for quarterbacks. I think if they can protect him, he's got the weapons. Yeah, he's a borderline QB1, right? He's not like you said against Tampa. He smashed. He's a top 3 quarterback. But no, I'm not starting him any over the big names. In fact, guess who gets Tampa this week? It's Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he can be a startable quarterback now. But yeah. So borderline QB1 around. I can't believe I'm saying it, around Bo Nix. Stafford now. Hey, another guy. We didn't get into the Rams yet, but another guy that you can look to pick up off waivers. We'll get into that in a second here, but yeah. So I think you want to start all your guys, the Bijans, the Londons, the Pitts. Let me see what they are against tight ends. Not like you're going to bench Pitts, but they're a negative matchup for tight end. Dallas is, but barely. They're like neutral, and Pitts doesn't really play like a normal tight end anyways. It's a lot of his deep balls and stuff like that. He's not a very good route runner. He's not very good sitting in zone coverage. He's good on these long pass routes. And when they can connect, he has those big games, which he really has. So, yeah,
I think Ferguson had 7 targets last week.
Sounds about right. Yeah, and again, he's a top 10 tight end. It's just, I don't know, man. The offense just seems broken to me. The whole team seems broken. And it's a positive matchup. So, I mean, you're certainly going to start him, but I just don't get excited about it because he hasn't had that explosive type of season that people were hoping from him, being a kind of a top 10 tight end. Just so inconsistent there. All right. Broncos versus the Ravens. This is a situation where we've got Nick's rookie quarterback's been really slinging the rock. He's a guy not afraid to attack a defense, and the Ravens defense is terrible.
He actually got better stats than all the other rookie QBs this year. I heard today whether he's playing better than all the other rookie QBs.
Yeah, they've won 5 of their last 6 games. They're looking to go against a Ravens team that's going to be pissed off after that loss last week. But their pass defense stinks. Denver won't be able to run the ball. I'm a big Javonte Williams owner. He's been disappointing to me. I mean, he keeps getting tackled. He keeps missing out on touchdowns. He had that big week 2 weeks ago. They played the Panthers last week. He did nothing, like literally nothing. The guy had like 7 fantasy points on like 19 touches, which is impossible against that defense. But I would not be looking to start Javonte Williams this week against a really tough Baltimore run defense and a situation where Baltimore could be blowing the doors off them. You know what I mean? And it's just, I mean, Dionte does catch the ball. He gets 45 catches a game, which keeps him viable. Last week he had like 4 catches for 8 yards, which is again impossible. But if you got to start him, okay. But I'm starting, Ramondre Stevenson over him, Rashad White over him. I mean, if Etienne's healthy, I'm probably starting him over him, even against Philly. I mean, I don't know, man. Javonte's got to get lucky this game. Cortland Sutton, great game last week. I felt like that would happen after the 0 the week before. I would start him this week against a horrific Baltimore pass defense, man. I'm starting Sutton, and I'm excited about it.
Derrick Henry in this game Denver's defense is going to be going against the number 1 rush leader, Henry. But you got Lamar. What is Lamar? Is it his knee? What's going on with him?
Oh, I didn't hear about a Lamar injury yet.
He has something going on with him. Just seen it a second ago.
I mean, he weighs 115 pounds. So,
but if Lamar's having some running issues, Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson's back and knee was on a DNP, do not practice on Wednesday due to back and knee injuries. Wednesday is often a rest day, but they didn't have on there, but afterwards he popped up on the injury report.
Yeah, a lot of guys sit on Wednesdays. They're
wondering if it's just a sit for him or if it's actually weird that after on a rest day he pops up on the injury report, if it's anything or not. So it's just something to slightly pay attention to. Yeah. But in my mind, if anything is running with his knee or back, you're going to see even more Henry that game.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think you'll see quite a bit of Henry in this game. But Denver's got a really good defense, dude. They're good against the run. They're good against the pass. They got that lockdown corner Surtain that can follow people all over the field. Dionte Johnson to the Ravens. We talked about it earlier. I'm not looking to start him this week. I don't even know if he'll even be active. He was hurt last week, although he's probably miraculously healthy, like Devontae Adams was all of a sudden. But I'm not looking. He's not going to know the offense, this, that, and the other thing. So Andrews, though, dude, it's been good to see. I have a lot of Andrews. Picking up 5-6 targets a game, 1-2 touchdowns a game. They're finally starting to go to him. But Denver's good against tight ends too. So I would still start Mark Andrews, start Zay Flowers. You're obviously starting Henry, you're starting Lamar if he's healthy. It's too bad, man. Bateman was starting to come along too. And I think that he's gonna, once Dionte gets going, I think Bateman's gonna take a back seat. He took that, he had a ball off the face mask that might have helped him win that game. It was like a 40-yarder in the fourth quarter that the sun got in his eyes and went off his face mask to the 50-yard line, which was pretty gross. But this week, I think you can probably start Bateman because I think Surtain is gonna be on Flowers. I think he's going to shadow him. So I think he's a guy you could put in like the Michael Wilson type of, hey, we can start him as a wide receiver 4 type of thing. I forgot to mention too, going back to the Falcons, Darnell Mooney. He's been really good for them this year. I've got him. I wasn't targeting him. I just happened to have him in a couple leagues. He's still been like a must start for me every week, like wide receiver 2 every week. He's been great.
He has been great. I wish I would have picked up more than this year. I just didn't see that him having that role of a necessity of there this year after Bijan and Pitts and London, that 4th guy up or so, and he's just there every week doing something.
Yeah, Cousins is great for fantasy, man. He just gets everybody involved because it's all through the air. He doesn't take any away with his legs. But yeah, I would be starting my Broncos pass catchers. I would be Javonte Williams. I know Snakes listen to this. He probably wants to kill me, but Javonte Williams, I'm not looking to play. But again, injuries, bye weeks. Sometimes you're forced to start guys you don't want to start, but I would be trying to get away from them. I have a start sit article that I do every week for FullTime. Comes out tomorrow or comes out Friday, but I'll have Javonte Williams in my sit portion of it for sure. All right, Saints Panthers. Alvin Kamara just has been incredible this season. You're loving starting him against the Panthers. Start all your startable guys against the Panthers. Their defense is terrible unless they're playing against Javonte Williams. But you're starting Kamara. You're starting Olave. Should have a big week.
Carr's back.
I'm sorry. Carr should be back this week. Yep.
That's an uptick for Olave for sure.
Yep. You can definitely get him going. Those really be the only pieces I would be looking to start. Maybe Taysom Hill if he gets.
What about Upton?
Sorry.
What's his name? The kid Upton. The guy that's taking.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe again. There's Cedric Wilson. I think it's Tipton.
Tipton. Maybe that's what I was Upton. I said Tipton. Whatever. That kid.
Yeah, he could do something. Carolina isn't great, but like I also don't know without having Carr there to see like how good these guys actually are. So it's tough to trust them. I mean, I got them way down. I mean, they're like wide receiver 4s to me. I would start Romeo Doubs, Michael Wilson, Jalen Tolbert, Bateman. I'd start all those guys over them for sure. But
Mike Williams goes or something to me. I'm hoping that I've got a lot of shares of him. I'm hoping Mike Williams ends up as a number 2 opposite of Olave over there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that's a huge skill. I mean, if that's the skill set of a position of the part they need, but he's a downfield player, and that's kind of what Rashid was. So, I don't know how it fits into him right there, but I'm still just hoping Mike goes somewhere. That's all I know.
Yeah. John, like you said, Jonathan Brooks might be back this week. New Orleans is a very positive matchup. They're a bottom 5 defense against running backs. So you really like if Brooks would come back, this would be the week that would be really nice to see. Maybe he can get 12 touches or something and pop off. If Brooks, I don't know, he's burning a hole in my pocket. Bye weeks injuries. If Brooks is active, I'm playing him. I mean, I'm not excited about it, but I am excited to watch him. So,
it says here, Adam says, Carolina Panthers running back Jonathan Brooks' knee turned in a full practice on Wednesday, according to the ESPN.
Let's go.
So he's has a good chance of playing this weekend, but they still might suggest to hold him out from his debut.
Teams don't – I mean, I don't know, man. Teams want to win football games. I don't care who you are. Dave Canales' his first year. Like the whole thing last year. Justin Jefferson, if they're not good, will he come back? These guys love to play, and these coaches love to win and put their best players out there. So I don't think this whole, hey, unless something came from the owner, like, hey, we're not going to play him. Like the fans want to see him. Like there's nothing to root for there. Put him out there. Let him rip if he's healthy, and let's have a little fun. So I'm looking to start him if he is healthy for sure. And it's a positive matchup. It's a good matchup for them. So, all right, moving on here. Got a couple more games to get to. We did that one. Jaguars, Eagles.
I was just going to ask if we did Eagles. So I'm looking at Dallas Go Dare right here. That's funny that you said that.
Yep. Jaguars, Eagles. The line opened at 47.5. It's down to 45, actually. So people have been betting it down, which is interesting. Maybe because of the injuries and stuff to Jacksonville. Philly's offense, to me, I got a lot of Philly. Like most people, you wanted the A.J. Brown, the Devonta Smiths, the Saquons. it's kind of broken to me, but they get the fantasy points generally for a couple of those guys. I was always telling people, I said it on our private Discord chats, I said it on all the podcasts I was on. If I draft Saquon, I'm drafting Hurts. Every time I drafted Saquon, I drafted Hurts because of what you freaking saw last week. Nobody gets tackled more at the 1 yard line than Eagles players.
Mm-hmm. That tush push that they give you. See, are you just frozen up or is mine open here? You back?
Sorry?
Oh, I don't know. Everything froze up on your picture. I was wondering if I was the only one left on
Yeah,
the thing.
I think mine froze up too. But anyways, going back to the Eagles. You're starting all your Eagles. Is Goddard back? I don't think he is he?
No. They're saying something he didn't practice today. His hamstring was not seen Wednesday. The 29-year-old been sidelined since hurting his hamstring in week 6.
Yeah. I think he's still out.
Kalantra, whatever the backup tight.
Yeah.
He only got like 3 looks anyway, so I don't know if he's really even going to look.
No, but Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Hurts. Hopefully, if you drafted Barkley, you drafted Hurts, so you could just enjoy. We have a pretty good FFWC World Championship team on the Discord that we've got AJ Brown, Barkley, and Hurts on the same team. So like when they go off, it's great. When they get rushing scores, it's great because we don't care who it is. What are you doing with the Jags, right? We got Christian Kirk out for the year, maybe Brian Thomas out for a couple of weeks. Gabe Davis stinks. My bet, the reason why I have a lot of Brian Thomas isn't because necessarily I thought he was the best player in the world, although I thought he was good coming in, whatever. He's a rookie receiver. You never know. Trevor Lawrence. It was always a bet on Gabe Davis being terrible because I'm a Bills fan. I watched him. Like, he owes Josh Allen every dime he ever made with the Jaguars. He caught 2 touchdowns like 3 weeks ago, and he also dropped 2 touchdowns 3 weeks ago. He's available on some waivers. I'm picking him up as a Brian Thomas kind of handcuff type thing. But what are you looking for that offense?
I think you got ETN getting healthy.
Yeah, he should be back this week.
So that's going to help them in a passing game. You might see a lot more ETN getting stretched out to fill. So most of you might even see a couple more double backs in the field with them both on the field now. I would, because ETN's a great pass catcher, so I would get the ball in his hands, stretch him out on the side in the receiver spot, and put Bixby in the back more if I was the coach.
Get more weapons on the field, especially with Kirk out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ingram's definitely going to get a tick up in balls, a couple, and Brian Thomas, like I said, they originally thought he could be out for 2 to 4 weeks, and now there's the possibility that he's coming back. So, even if he does come back this week, it'll still be maybe a decoy week, or he ain't going to be 100% this week. So Ingram's going to take even more of a role this week. Probably a huge week for Ingram, then, actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, Ingram could have a monster week. Let me see how Philly is here against tight ends here. But yeah, Ingram have a monster week. Philly's actually the toughest team in the league, the second toughest team in the league against tight ends. So
I just wish Ingram scored more touchdowns as a tight end. They hit him with the ball a lot. He get a lot of targets. He'll get that between yardage. Yeah, he'll get you 8 for 80 or something like that.
Yeah, 8 for 80 is right. Yeah,
get the 1 TD, and that's what I just wish they would get.
Yep. So you're still starting Ingram in the tough matchup. If Brian Thomas is active, you're starting him. If Brian Thomas doesn't play, I would play Gabe Davis for sure. If Gabe Davis is healthy. Trevor Lawrence, I'm not playing this week. I never want to play Trevor Lawrence. I think he's just terrible. And then the Philly side of the ball, you're playing all your normal guys there, and hope for a little bit of a shootout there. Philly's defense is starting to come back around though, which will hurt that shootout potential. All right, a couple more here we got to get through quick as we're kind of running out of time here. Let's do Lions Packers. I don't want to skim over these games. These are good games. Lions Packers. It's been interesting. Everybody wanted Jameson Williams to be this superstar stud. Jameson Williams, you wanted him to break out. He's just setting good. But then he breaks out and it hurts everybody else. There's just not enough balls to go around. I mean, he's out again this week, the second week. But when, Amon-Ra St. Brown hasn't been the target hog that we thought he was going to be. He's made out with a couple of like touchdowns. Like last week, he had like 2 catches and a touchdown or something like that. Laporta has been unstartable for weeks and weeks and weeks. He finally has a good game this last week because Jameson Williams wasn't there. The running backs always get theirs, but it's hard, man. When they have a full stable of players there, you're always going to have that guy that's usually been Laporta, but sometimes it's Laporta and Amon-Ra that get left out.
Yeah, it's again, you got a great receiver like Amon-Ra that you would think is going to be a top 10, 12 players all day. Instead, you're going to have my guy Tillman being a top 12 player all year.
That's right. That's right. Cedric Tillman, the captain of the Cedric Tillman fan club.
We're going to find out.
There you go. But Green Bay's an even matchup against running backs. I could see Gibbs has been amazing, and Montgomery getting rolling here. I said this actually on the podcast last week. I said Goff is a guy that, the Lions could score 30 points, and Goff does nothing because they have 4 rushing touchdowns. And my friend literally messaged me, Sam. You met Sam in Vegas, part of the portfolio. He's like, dude, how do they score 50 points? And Goff has 86 passing yards. I'm like, yeah, but he had like 3 touchdowns, I think. So I ended up making up for it. But that's how they are, dude. They can give the ball to Montgomery and Gibbs all game and crush people. So there's a massive upside in this offense, but there's also some pretty low lows for some of these guys, but you're starting them all.
Absolutely. Laporta definitely startable without Jameson Williams there. Jameson Williams just keeps doing knuckleheaded stuff one after another. What I read now that he had a gun that they're earlier in the month that they were dealing with now. It's also the PEDs that he's dealing with now. It's like the dude literally just can't get out of his own way.
Right. Yep. I'm on the Packers side. I'm benching Josh Jacobs this week, man. I know he's been solid, whatever, the offense, but he's got an ankle injury. He should play, but the Lions defense is really good against running backs. Now, granted, most of that was with Aiden Hutchinson, but I think again that run defense is locked in. So if there's like a kind of a sneaky sit, I would go with Jacobs, especially if the quarterback isn't playing, because the offense will be even worse. I know Love's got the groin injury.
Yeah, I was gonna say with that groin injury, he says he's 100% going to be playing whatever, but he ain't going to be mobile like he.
Right.
I'm actually sitting him and running Baker Mayfield over him this week, which would have been an easy no call before Evans and Godwin went down.
Right.
But I'm hoping even after last week, he still put up great numbers with Cotton and McMillan or whatever and Palmer and stuff. He didn't really, and now they lost. But Shepard's out too now.
Yeah, I don't know that Chiefs defense is tough. That Chiefs defense is tough, but Baker Mayfield has just been so good all year. To me, I think it's a coin flip between the two. If Love plays, I might, but Love.
I just can't take another 8 points from Love again like I did last week.
Right, you can re-aggravate it and be out.
One quarter and leave on me.
Right.
I'm going with that. I don't care if he ends up having 5, 7 more points than Baker. I want to make sure I got a 4-quarter quarterback next week. And if Love's out there for 1 quarter, that doesn't do my team no good.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But yeah, we're talking Packers receivers, man. It's been Reed's kind of fallen off a little bit. Dobbs started hot last week and did like nothing in the second half. I thought he was. But he's had some big weeks too. Dobbs has, but Jaden Reed more of like a wide receiver 3 this week. But there's just too many mouths to feed there. It's not that they're not good, and Detroit's pass defense is not good. No Aiden Hutchinson there now for that pressure, but you just don't know. Is it Jaden Reed? Is it Dobbs? Is it Watson? Is it
Who's going to be popping in there? Is it the Kraft end that's actually better than a couple of them right so far this year?
Wait, that's right. Kraft. Yeah, you're definitely starting Kraft. Kraft stiff arming people. The guy looks like a young freaking
Kraft's been nice.
Yeah. He looks like a young Kittle out there just running people over.
Drop all those Musgraves earlier this year and get on him before everybody picked him up, because I thought Musgrave was going to be the guy, and I was lucky to drop most of my Musgraves and pick up Kraft at the right time.
Kraft, another one. Detroit's one of the best defenses against tight ends too. So We'll see. We'll see. But you probably got to start Kraft anyways. But if you picked up Kraft and you've got Mark Andrews, I would start Mark Andrews. If you picked up Kraft and you got any one of these top tight ends, I would start Kate Otten over him for sure. I'd start Hawkinson over him, I think, in a great match. Like if Hawkinson can come back this week, we haven't talked about that yet with Indy. I would definitely start Hawkinson for sure.
I think Hawkinson is back.
Yeah.
If he's whether he's on a small slight count or not, play count, I don't know. But if they're already balling out over there, Sam Darnold to me is MVP of the team of the year for them over there. I didn't see Darnold doing that at all.
Yep.
So you add Hawkinson back on and just give him another weapon. They're ready to roll.
Yeah. All right. Three more games left. Rams, Seahawks. Welcome back, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Welcome back, Matt Stafford. Guy went from unstartable. Guys, he's on a lot of waivers. Go pick up. Man, I would drop Anthony Richardson for Matt Stafford 100%. Go do that. I just think this is a dead year for Anthony Richardson. Stafford now healthy, getting healthy pieces back. 4 touchdowns last week. You're starting You're starting Cooper Kupp. You're starting Puka Nacua. You're starting Kyren. You're starting Stafford. You're starting all your pieces there. Seattle. Hopefully DK comes back. They ran into a buzzsaw in Buffalo last week. I told everybody, hey, be careful about Tyler Lockett. This is why sometimes watching the games is better than just looking at the numbers, looking at the analytics and the stats. Listen, the Bills slot corner is an all-pro. Okay, I don't care what the stats say about he's given up this many catches and this many attempts. He also gave up a lot of those. Taron Johnson is the guy. He also gave up a lot of those against Garrett Wilson in a game. So, I was telling people, beware of Tyler Lockett. He goes 1 catch for 8 yards or something like that. But hopefully getting DK Metcalf back. If Metcalf's back, you're certainly starting him against the Rams. Their pass defense I don't think is very good at all. Lockett and JSN, though, man, I could see you benching them because they just can't get it done this year, huh?
JSN had that earlier game in the thing where we thought it was going to be his breakout game. I got really excited for him, then all of a sudden he just kind of
fizzled out.
Fizzled out is a good word for it. And so when Metcalf went back down, I was like, here we go, another huge game. I haven't plugged them all back in for him, and he didn't disappoint, but it wasn't here nor there great.
Right. I mean, they're both low on wide receiver 3s to me. I'm starting Hopkins, Cooper, Coleman, Wandale. I even start Elijah Moore over them. I would start a healthy Gabe Davis if Brian Thomas is out. I mean, they're low ADOT, type of nonsense, man. It's now if DK doesn't play, the Rams pass defense is nowhere near as good as the Bills pass defense. Then you can kind of push those guys in there because they'll have to use them, but you just don't know, man. You just don't know. All right, moving on to the next game. Colts, Vikings, over under 46.5 down to 45.5 now. You're starting Jonathan Taylor. Flacco's back. So now you can start to get some of these receiving pieces in here now, right? You can start your Josh Downs. Man, if I'd have known Josh Downs has that big game last week, I'm excited to start Josh Downs. I'm excited to start Pittman, against the Vikings pass defense, which is not very good. I'm excited to get this offense going now, huh?
Yeah. You just never know what you're going to get with these teams anymore. You spend all year thinking that they're going to go one direction, and then next thing you know, shell the team that it used to be from one year back and forth.
Yep.
I give up predictions.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think you want to start them this week. I got them both as top 25 receivers, man. Pittman and Downs. You'll see them in my start article tomorrow as well.
Well, they're definitely better because of Flacco. I mean,
yeah,
I've been pulling because AR has been just so horrible. Just percentile completion has been god awful. He's not even running like you thought he would. And
right.
Yeah. Tapping himself on the head. He doesn't even sound like he's in shape or something. This is like, what are you doing out there, guy? So, but now that Flacco's there, Flacco makes Pittman an automatic plug and play. Downs for sure is going to get the ball under Flacco. different. It's amazing how one player on the quarterback position from Cleveland Browns with Watson going out, Jameson transforming the team to here we go. Even Flacco, boom, transforms the team as soon as he comes in.
Yep. Vikings, you're obviously starting your studs there. Hawkinson should be back this week. I'm starting him. Indy's a great matchup for tight ends. Aaron Jones, top 10 running back for me this week. Yeah, they could blow Indy out, and so that's good for the Indy pass catchers. It's good for Aaron Jones. Justin Jefferson, I think, will do well. Addison, I don't think I would be looking to start him. It's been inconsistent for a lot of the pieces behind the main guys, so to speak. There's just so many weapons there now, honestly. And I think the Vikings just picked up an O lineman via trade. Maybe the Jaguars actually traded Cam Robinson over there, so that should help their offense as well. But yeah, Jordan Addison I have outside the top 36. You could maybe find a spot for him, but yeah, you're starting your studs there. Hope for a shootout. I'm liking the Colts receiving core this week a lot. Probably playing from behind with Joe Flacco. Monday night game, we were hoping for a real good shootout here a couple weeks ago with the Chiefs and the Bucks, but the Chiefs don't shoot out anybody because they stink. The worst 7-0 team in the history of sports. And then you've got the Bucks that are so hurt. And so this is probably going to be the over/under is 44.5. I would take the under, man. I just feel like maybe Hopkins gets going, but I don't know. What are your vibes on this game?
I think it's going to be a shootout.
Oh, baby. Fozzy says take the over. Take the over.
I really do. I think after last week, seeing Baker Mayfield did with he's the number one quarterback on the season for a reason. For some reason, he's been tearing and balling out. And if anybody's going to give the Chiefs a run right now, they still got a strong running game. They've still got some speed and some lightning with Trey Palmer that's going to be out there now this time because Shepard, he's going to get more of a look. So I think it's one of those things that people are going to overlook, and it's going to be a much more competitive game than it would be. I don't know. Well, we'll have to put a little check mark on that one and see if I'm right.
Well, the Chiefs are going to win because they always win. Because they don't know how to lose. The refs don't allow whatever you want to call little plays, muffed punts, all the stupid stuff. They get all the stupid stuff. So they're definitely going to win. I just don't know if it's going to be a shootout because of
Baker's been a number one quarterback and Mahomes been a 15 rated quarterback.
I know.
And so if you were looking at it on paper, you're looking at the other guys going to come in and kick the shit out of the Chiefs. If you're looking at it that way. Now Baker ain't got the refs on his side, but
or the receivers anymore, So we'll see. I mean, the Chiefs have a really, really good defense, like one of the best in the NFL. So I think it's going to be hard for them. But I like. Who do you like for the receiver? You like Hopkins? He's going to play more. I think another full week of practice. I think prime time with Hopkins. I think they're going to roll him out there and get him going. I have him as a wide receiver 2 this week.
I can definitely pick up looks again. But Hopkins, every week Hopkins is going to get more involved, and he doesn't drop balls. You'll see him underneath. He ain't got his breakaway speed that he used to, but he's going to come across the middle and play that juju, play that rice roll just fine.
Yeah, and Tampa's secondary not great. They're a positive matchup. Worthy could have a splash play here or there. I don't want to count them out for that, obviously, but I think the consistency will be in Kelsey because the tight ends, but the Bucs against tight ends are terrible. So I think Kelsey's going to have another smash game. It's nice to see him and Andrews finally get rolling here.
If Baker can go out there and move the ball, it's going to be a high score game.
Yeah, agreed. I just don't know if we'll be able to. You're starting Cade Otton, yes. Obviously, the guy's been awesome the last couple weeks, especially with nobody to compete with him. And the Chiefs are a really good matchup for tight ends. The run game's interesting here, right? You've got Rashad White, who always just consistently puts up fantasy points, even though he isn't good. But you can even tell by watching him that Bucky Irving is just better But Rachaad White's there. He's back. He's healthy. He's there. But the Chiefs' defense is so good against running backs. I would not want to – honestly, I wouldn't really want to start either of these guys. But you might not have a choice. And I would lean Bucky Irving, man. I just think if they want to win the game, they got to get him the ball because he's just a lot better than Rachaad White.
So listen to these stats real quick. So Mayfield, as he played earlier in the year, and he had both his receivers with Evans and Godwin there, he had like a 289, a 185, a 163. Week 4, he popped a 347, which still wasn't his highest game. But then a 180, 325. He still threw up a 370 and a 330 last week with no receivers. And then receivers that went down that week, he still threw up a 370 the week before, which is his highest week. So with his receivers going down, he's still throwing over 300 yards and 3 TDs in both those games. Baker's last 4 games has been 3 TD, 4 TD, 3 TD, 3 TD. So to say he can't go out there against the Chiefs defense as well, even with these lack of receivers, I don't know. No, his interceptions has gone up in the last 3 games.
Yeah, we don't care about that. Yeah, we don't.
But I think he can he had 27.6 points last week. I think he can come out there and make the Chiefs have to. I think the Chiefs win it, but I think he can make them have to point ball with them a little bit.
I would love it. I mean, trust me. Nobody hates the Chiefs more than me, but it's just. The Chiefs defense always finds a way. They always find a way.
Chiefs defense is better in real life than they are at the fantasy aspect. They're a really great defense, but they don't produce a lot of fantasy touchdown returns.
Right.
But they're not that high point in fantasy team that you would like to see, but they are solid defense.
Right. All right, my friend. I think that's it. That was the Monday night game. That is it. Look at us. Hour and 16 minutes, giving them all the action, laying it all down for them. Good luck, everybody, tonight. Fozzy, I know you got waivers to get to still. I got waivers to get to last minute tweaks and stuff like that. But you're riding high in your Cedric Tillman horse right now, just living life. Wide receiver 1, Cedric Tillman.
We're gonna find out. I hope I don't eat those words, right?
No, I hope you're right. I got a lot of Cedric. Listen, you saw me. I put in the Discord. I got a lot. We picked up like 10 shares of him. So hopefully, and now I'm just gonna force him into the lineup. So it'll
like 30 something of them or something. I've got a lot of them, and I went over him over McMillan, which I thought, and everybody was going McMillan first, and I thought I was running a little lower on 5, so I thought he might be the number 1 still at that, and Jamison coming in, so I took the gamble and loaded up on Tillman instead. So far, it's paid off. We'll see what happens.
So far, it's paid off. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for sticking around. We will head to waivers just like the rest of you guys, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.